Yesterday we covered 4 out of 7 great reviewing. Today we shall go on to the 5th great reviewing. In the 5th great reviewing, in the earlier part of this reviewing, there are many things which have been mentioned in the earlier part, and only in the later part there is a difference. And in the 5th great reviewing, what is meant here is one who possesses a real view comes to view according to the way of the Dhamma whether one has been fulfilled with this Aryan view. So in the 4th as well as in the 5th reviewing, the same thing, the same expression is involved, namely the way of the Dhamma. So what is the difference between the two? In the 4th reviewing, as regards this Dhammadaya, according to the way of the Dhamma, as for the monks, when they commit certain offences, apatti, which can be rehabilitated, one goes to confess and rehabilitate with the vow not to commit such things in future, with the vows of restraint. And as regards human ordinary being also, the lay people also, they should have this kind of attitude, that they will at once rehabilitate it, redress it, and then make a vow not to commit such things in future. So in the 5th great reviewing, the difference is that one who possesses the Aryan view, that is, who has become Sotapanna, comes to possess strong zeal in order to practice the 3 trainings. That is the difference. In the text is given this Karinkaraniya, what can I help you? That sort of thing. That is the usual way one goes to ask one's companion in holy life, that there may be things which need help, and such matters may be large or small, big or small, and this is how people associate with one another in this holy life. And there are some matters that the companions are doing things, and you need some help. And such things can crop up. Then one makes an effort to help in an unavoidable way. So one wishes to help one's companion in an unavoidable matter, whether it is important or not so important. While one is energetic in the practice of higher training, that is higher virtue, the practice of higher virtue, higher mind and higher wisdom, while one is involved energetically, or while one is involved unavoidably in helping the companions in one's holy life. In the text is given this expression patano, that means very thick, literally meaning thick, and means very steadfast, strong, powerful sort of zeal, wish, sanda, to help one's companion in the holy life, at the same time undertake this higher training. So as regards this Puthujana, ordinary beings, after one has taken the vows of basic precepts and cultivating the mind and insight, in a normal way one cultivates his precepts, moral virtue, in order to purify one's physical, verbal behaviors, so that they become gentle and peaceful and amiable. understanding the advantages of moral virtue, they will appreciate the practice of virtue, they will cherish it, and going one step further, one will energetically apply one's mind on the object of attention whenever the objects arise at the very moment, cultivating momentary concentration, by which the energy, the kriya which is exerted, will prevent or block or stop the flow of current of defilements. That means the current of defilements will not flow like before. And with the cultivation of mindfulness, the mind will be protected, because sati has the power of protection. It will protect the mind from impurities and undermining elements. When the mind is protected, there will be security from impurities, and one will become freedom from the bondage, and hence the mind will become peaceful, which is the cause for real happiness. And with this kind of mentality, this kind of concept, one practices the samadhi sikha, that concentration training, in order to purify one's mind, so that one's mind becomes general, peaceful and immovable. Later, as the noting mind is concurrent with the object of attention, seeing the true nature of the objects noted, when one comes to the stage of the instantaneous rising and passing away of mind-body objects, one is bound to realize the kind of happiness which is unalloyed and unforsakable, and by which one will instill more faith and confidence in the practice. As we have discussed that with samatha, with concentration, mind is calmed, like all the kilesa defilements are subdued by the calming of the mind, and we said nibhuti, coming to stillness or cessation of defilements. In this way, one will appreciate the practice of adipanya, that is higher wisdom, adipanya sikha, the training of higher wisdom, by which one can eradicate the latent tendencies of defilements. Later, coming to the cessation with the realization of the path and its fruit. And in this way, one appreciates the practice of the three training sikha, and one will be transformed from the worldly practice to the unworldly or supramundane, from the mundane to the supramundane practice, so that it becomes more unshakable and becomes more highly. One is said to be undertaking the higher training, adisika, appreciating it and realizing, because one realizes it with one's own personal experience. At this time, there may arise such matters as urgent need for your help by the companions in the holy life, unavoidably, and then there is an occasion for you to help this companion in the holy life in matters which may be urgent or not so urgent, but at the same time energetically undertaking the three trainings, while unavoidably being involved in mundane matters, which is social matters. Unavoidably you are involved in the social matters as acquired by the companions in the holy life. And then at the same time, you are energetic in your own practice of the three trainings. Hence it is known as a pallava, very strong, patana, very thick and very powerful kind of desire, which is very excellent. And this is a good sign by which one gives priority do the 3 trainings, siddhas. So if such attitude is held by many in the world, then the world will be very peaceful and a peaceful place to live in. Especially when one is able to overcome the enemy within, the internal enemies which are defilements. One is said to be winning self-victory. And by this, at the same time, by winning self-victory, one is not defiling oneself. One is safeguarding oneself, at the same time safeguard others or help them to become peaceful, which is good for the society as well as for yourself. So if such practices prevail in the world, then the world will be a very peaceful place to live. So at the same time helping your companions in the holy life in an unavoidable way. In the old days, the monks had to stitch their own robes, not like nowadays, you can buy in a shop. In those days, you had to stitch your own piece. They collect pieces of cloth and stitch them together, tie them at the same time helping. In this way, one has to stitch and prepare one's robes as well as the robes of one's companions and teachers. Such are the things which are unavoidable, and when one is helping in this way, that is discharging social duty, one is energetic, not in a half-hearted manner, but wholeheartedly, while discharging the social duty unavoidably, helping one's companions or teachers. One also is energetic in the practice of the 3 higher trainings, namely Adisila, higher virtue, Adicheta, higher mind or concentration, and higher Adipinya, higher wisdom, while helping one's companions in holy life and one's teachers. And one is energetic, with great zeal in both matters. Such is the difference in this great reviewing. Comparison given in the text is that the case of a mother cow, while it is grazing, it watches its calf just born. So to Sarabhana, while helping and discharging the social duties, by helping one's companions in holy life and also one's teachers. On the other hand, one is energetic, not failing to observe the 3 higher trainings. Such is the way of the Dhamma as for the Sarabhana. At this point, the commentary has given this one short brief story. At one time, it happened in Sri Lanka, while the monks are repairing this pagoda called Mahachitya at Anuradha city, called Anuradha. While working on the cement, one noble monk was involved in this cement work. He was holding this container of cement in one hand, and with the other he was handling this trowel in order to work on the cement. While at the same time he was mindful of his training energetically. At that time, another monk came to him. This monk was only not mindful of his practice, but he was mindful of his exercise only. He was doing it just for his physical exercise. And he just came to this monk, this Arya monk, in order to get involved in conversation. So at that, the Arya monk, a noble one, moved from one place to another to go to a quiet place, to be away from this companion, and to work on the cement as well as to be mindful of his training.
she got got up a book of the Ayatari solution. Whatever he had to see the case up. So he had been there. A kid takes her leg to see her tit and he will leave it. He would be only to get her.
In this way, the Arya monk was moving from one place to another to be secluded, to go into seclusion, to be away from this companion, not to be involved in conversation. At the same time, other monk also was going to him. At that time, the Arya monk politely told the other monk, his friend, "Oh friend, look here, the platform of this temple is very wide, and there are many other places that you can go instead of coming near me." Then only the friend moved away, leaving the Arya monk in seclusion, so that he was able to work on the cement with his trowel, at the same time being mindful of his training. In this way, as for the noble one, the Sarapana, while he or she may be involved in these duties or matters, unavoidably, he or she should be energetic in his or her training. As for lay people, there's the same as Guruva, Bahu Kaiso, Bhuvasa, Bhuvaso, Guru. Too many occupied, lay people are very much occupied with many matters, Garavaso, Bhukeso, with many matters, such as matters regarding food, clothing and shelter, and the matters involved in the society, with the social matters to attend to, and so on. However, one may be occupied in these matters. As for the Sarapana, if one has become a Sarapana, although one is occupied with many affairs, social affairs or one's own affairs, one should not forget or neglect one's training of Samadhi, like the case of this mother cow and its calf, how the mother cow watches its calf while it is grazing. So although one is involved unavoidably in these matters, in social matters or one's own matters, one should undertake one's own practice, one should not neglect one's own practice. And then it may be good that if you not forget while you are occupied with such matters, appreciating the benefit of the practice. One has a great zeal not to forget the three trainings which one has practiced before, and such is the usual way of the Dhamma, Dhammadaya, of the noble ones, Ariyas. And when one reflects upon oneself or reviews in this way, as for Sarapana, or if one has become Sarapana, one can consider or one understands that one possesses this usual way of the Dhamma, Dhammadaya. And in this way, one comes to make a decision. While one is reviewing one's attainment, one reflects upon one's life, and in this way one comes to a decision or understanding. That is that although one is involved in matters, either for oneself or social society, one is still energetic in the practice of the three trainings. And such is the usual way of the Dhamma for the Ariyas, Dhammadaya. In this forest retreat, the yogis came from all over the country, and they received guidance from their teachers who gave instruction in accordance with the Buddha's teachings, and they practiced respectfully and carefully, understanding the nature of the Dhamma. And when they are about to go back, they would say such remarks. They would give such remarks. and they had a feeling that they are transformed, they feel a transformation in their life from one world to another world, or a new world. That is their feeling of transformation. And some would say that they have been in search of a good place, peaceful place like this. Now they found the location, the place where they can practice meditation. And some remarked that the best export of this country is the method of the practice of Satipatthana Bhavana, and that's what they understand very well. And also some would remark that even if they have been seeking pleasure instead of real peace, and in the meantime they suffer from such mental diseases like tension, stress and depression, and they feel like some would remark that they are like suffering from heartburn in an air-conditioned room. Although the surrounding is cool, they don't feel coolness. They feel the heat in their heart, and they are living like a hungry ghost, seeking after pleasure and never get satisfied. And then they go after happiness, sensual happiness, worldly happiness, but they do not find any happiness. In fact, they are confronted with suffering, and now they find the answer to their problems. In this way, they come here, practice, and make such remarks, and it is quite appreciated. That it is quite nice that they are able to undertake such kind of practice and realize the experience of the Dhamma. Though many say that the best export from this country is the practice of Satipatthana, actually it is not so. This practice originated in India. In those days it is called Jambudvipa. Some 2.5 millennium ago, the Buddha has discovered this method and preached the method to all beings, both human and devas, that the practice of Satipatthana bring about benefits, beginning with the purification of mind and all the 7 benefits. So it is most ancient practice, we must say, which originated in India, known as Jambudvipa in those days, 2.5 millennia ago. And this practice was undertaken by all Buddhas who have enlightened in that part of the world. So when people gain real happiness as a result of the practice, they may wonder when it originated, but it was very ancient. It is very difficult to point out when it originated, because many Buddhas which have enlightened in the past have practiced this Satipatthana Bhavana practice. So in fact, although it is prevalent in this country, in fact it originated in India. Buddha himself had discovered this method and undertaken the practice and preached the Dhamma to all beings. And so long as this generation of practitioners live on, this tradition will endure for a long time and will continue for a long time for the welfare and prosperity of all beings. And then, knowing that this method is conducive to peace and happiness, and one should understand that such tradition has existed in the past as much as it is existing now, and it is hoped that it will exist in future, it will endure for a long time in future, so long as we are able to sustain this practice. So this is a responsibility of all of us who cherish the Dhamma to sustain this practice so that it will endure for a long, long time. Winding up the fifth great reviewing, the late Venerable Paṇḍitā Sayadaw has composed this rhyme, which I have translated, or at least I have tried. While being involved in matters concerning one's companions in holy life, one is eager to practice the three trainings. Such is the fifth great reviewing. So this usual way of the Dhamma, known as Dhammadaya, prevails in the mind of the noble ones, Ariyas, as is given in the fourth and the fifth great reviewing. The Ariya possesses this way of the usual way of the Dhamma, Dhammadaya. And when he or she reviews, he or she understands that he or she possesses this usual way of the Dhammadaya in this fourth and fifth reviewing. So this is in both the fourth and fifth reviewing. So we shall go on to the sixth one tomorrow. In both the fourth and fifth reviewing. So we shall go on to the sixth one tomorrow. In both the fourth and fifth reviewing.